Hey everyone, welcome to this gap shop on how to thrive in the new normal. This talk has been organized by GAP, the Global Association for Strategy and Planning Executives. My name is Nisha Katwani. I am the community manager here at GAP, and I'll be moderating this session. Joining us today is Ian Faria. He's a corporate trainer and success coach with over 40 years of experience in training and leadership skills across diverse industries. Ian, welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much. Nisha, it's a pleasure to be here and I thank you for the invitation.
Great, great. Before I hand over the floor to you, Ian, I would like to add that the purpose of these talks is to make for a interactive learning environment. So we encourage everyone to share their views and discussions post the talk. Today's talk will entail how organizations and leaders can thrive and flourish in the new normal. So Ian, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. I see Rishi Trivedi is also online. So Rishi, thank you for having me over. Happy to be here and happy to share some things with you.
Hi Ian, thanks so much for joining in. Thanks for doing this talk for us. I really look forward to listening to you.
My pleasure, and I'm looking forward to it being interactive. So I'm also going to learn from you guys.
Sure. Also, Ian, I just wanted to mention that this will be a recorded session. So a lot of our members listen in when they get time later on. So we would be posting it in our community.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
In fact, some of them are here live with us.
Yeah, that's fine. Perfectly good.
Over to you, Ian.
Thanks, Rishi. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start by just giving you a little bit about my background. So I've been in corporate training for the last 25 years. I've been a coach for last 17, 18 years. But more than all of this, I've been a counselor for the last 36. This February makes it 37 years.
Wow.
So I know about how to get into people's minds. I know where the issues are. I also have a program where I interview people. It's called Mind Talks. And the purpose of that is to get into the mind of leaders or successful people. In fact, last night interviewed, the great Sabir Bhatia, the founder of Hotmail. Yeah, so his interview should be out soon, and a tremendous interview, so much learning. My whole focus is how do I get into people's minds? How do I make leaders more powerful? And the last year, especially till now with the pandemic taking, its toll on people, especially even powerful countries like the US, I thought it's time for us to sit down and figure out what really is happening and should we really be worried about this? On the flip side of it, in case these things happen, and I've been talking for the last 5 years about how to handle a VUCA world. And VUCA is an acronym for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So how do we handle this VUCA world? And coronavirus is really a classic aspect of the VUCA world. It hits you by surprise. It doesn't give you time to think. It takes out a lot of people. It creates fear everywhere. Well, that's the kind of situation we got to get used to. Nothing strange about it. It's how the world is going to be. And if you're thinking now the VUCA, vaccine, the corona vaccine is out and now everything is fine and hunky-dory, think again. That's not a guarantee for anything. So keeping that in mind, how do we still manage? What should we do? Is there any formula that we can use to ensure that, we can thrive irrespective of what the world throws at us? That's my focus here today. And you guys are planning and, strategy managers. Why not we discuss this? Why not I learn something from you as well? Because the more we share in this VUCA world or a world where nothing is guaranteed, the more we all become powerful. And I think that's one thing I'm espousing for today. Why don't we look at how do we collaborate more? So wherever I'm going, the one thing that I'm doing is, can we leave our differences out of this nonsense, and why can we just focus on how do we synergize? And synergy is the next level of collaboration. So we're not just looking at collaborating or working together. Some of us are purely transactional. And I think that's something that all of you will find in your organizations. No, काम से मतलब है, boss, you know what, I got this problem. If I have a problem and I need your help, I'm ready to maska you and, गधे को भी बाप बनाओ types. But if I think it's my entitlement or my right, then I want to mess with you. Then I want to complain about you. I want to take you out. And that's not required. I mean, might have a difference of opinion. So what? So what? Difference of opinion are good. We can agree to disagree, but we do it in an agreeable manner. And when we have to fight, we fight the issue, we don't fight the individual. Now, all these things we know about. Why is it more relevant in today's world? Because we are not sure who's going to be around 3 months from now, 6 months from now. We're not sure whether companies are going to be surviving in the next 6 months. So how do we manage? I mean, can any of us on this group here, can any of us guarantee that we are going to be around 3 months from now? So on one hand, we plan like we're going to live forever. Like my plan is, how do I live to 130 years? But I live every day as though today could be my last. Tomorrow I'm going to be in Goa. I'm going to do, energize a company which wants to double its turnover. That's in Goa. If my flight crashes, I don't reach Goa. So what? Big deal. But I'm planning to reach. I'm planning when I come back also, what am I going to do back in Bangalore on Monday? See, this is the paradox. On one hand, we are not sure whether we are going to be around tomorrow. But on the other hand, we want to plan like we're going to live for 1,000 years. For me, 130 is the new norm. I'm looking at 130 plus. How come my friends say, when you reach 130, you'll say 150, right? I said, yeah. Yeah, precisely. So when are you going to retire? Not before 100. That's for sure. Not before 100. And look at me, I'm 62 years old. I can rock and roll, man. Now, I walk my talk all the time. So I don't bring some theories to the table. I read about a book a day. I'm all the time well informed. I don't use reading glasses. I don't forget things easily, let me tell you. So I'm where it's at. Now, can all of us be that way? Of course you can. I'm not some gifted person, come down from the universe somewhere. I learned all my stuff in the school of hard knocks. So what's the problem? Now, how many of you are reading? How many of you are aware of what the changes are? How many of you are aware of how to avoid getting corona? I mean, if you're not really aware, you start to learn and look at that rather than sit at home, fight, avoid, all the time wearing mask and washing hands 2,000 times a day. What are we doing exactly? Why don't you boost your immune system? Why don't you make sure no virus or bacteria can hit you? No, we need to get that kind of confidence to say, boss, panga mat le lo, whoever you are, coronavirus. Why would any virus worry any of us? Please tell me. So, like the virus, there are other things that are going to hit us below the belt. No. How do we manage those things? So I'm on this trip now about, why don't we start to look at things a lot more in a more positive spectrum? Why can't we change things from today to say, you know what, we got nice guys like Rishi and we got Nisha and these people are doing so much for us here. Why don't we start to look at, can we collaborate? Can we share some information? Can we become one of the best organizations around? So I'm hoping that by the end of my talk today, all of you will be a little more collaborative with each other. You'll be willing to share more information. And if each of us can share one thing, then all of us benefit. For instance, if I have one phone, you have one phone, and we can exchange phones and, we still have one phone each, but another phone. If I have one apple, you have one orange, we can take 50-50 and I have half an orange, half an apple, half an apple, half an orange. But hold on a second. If you have two ideas, one each, you give me your idea, I got two ideas. I give you my idea, you got two ideas. So what do? We came in with one idea each, we're going out with two ideas each. That is magic because every new idea can connect to the possible 10,000 new ideas in your own mind. So even though we're thinking we are picking up the same idea, let me tell you, in your brain, that idea is going to work differently than it does in somebody else's brain. And this is something I want everyone to understand. The reality that we see, let's say you're looking at my hand and you're saying this is the front of the hand. Somebody looking at it from my point of view will say, no, this is the back of the hand. Who's right? Both are right from their perspectives. But hold on a second. We are seeing the front and the back. There's somebody looking at it from the side. What does he see? He sees the side of the hand. And he says side of the hand. And he says, no, you're wrong. I'm seeing front, he's seeing back. What are you seeing side for? Go to his point of view and see whether you see the side. And the side is where his reality is. The other side is where the other person's reality is. And all are correct from their points of view. How do we start to understand and put our head around this? Just to give you some statistical information, scientific statistical information about the brain. Every second, we are hit by about 11 million bits of information in the brain. The brain cannot compute 11 million bits per second. It's not got that kind of capacity. What has it got capacity for? 40 bits per second. 40 out of 11 million, do the math, 0.00004%. That means not even 0.1%. Yeah, come on. How do you glean reality or truth from 0.00004%? You can't. So your reality is only your reality. And therefore your perception at this point of time is your reality at this point of time. And so also my reality at this point of time is based on myself, my perception at this point of time. So who's right, who's wrong? Both of us are right and both of us are actually wrong. So the smart guys say, there's not your way and my way. It's your way, my way, highway. No, that's also not a possibility. Stephen Covey wrote a whole book called The Third Alternative. What he says is not your way, it's not my way, but it's not even the highway. It's a higher way. So why can't we go to a higher level and look at this from a 30,000 feet view? I'm telling you, all the small, stupid points you're fighting about don't even exist from 30,000 feet. From 30,000 feet, we see the bigger picture. We see the mountains, we see the lakes, we see those bigger buildings, even the small houses we won't see. But from the street level view, which all of us are looking at life from, everything looks like, we are ants. And everybody else has a better vantage point. Of course they do. But if you want a better vantage point, climb the building, man. Who stopped you? So I'm looking at it from that point of view. How do we change vantage points? How do we change our perceptions? How do we change height of eye? So Stephen Covey says, instead of arguing with me about why your point is right, do me a favor, come over to my side first. See things from my perception. When you understand it, maybe what we are looking for are two different things. And maybe you can help me get what I want, and I can help you get what you want. So Zig Ziglar said, you can get whatever you want on the planet by helping enough other people get what they want. Why don't we understand that? If you help me get what I want, I am duty bound through reciprocity to give you what you want. I'm duty bound. Why can't we work that reality? Why are we just, all the time fighting because we got low self-esteem and we all the time want to grab and hold on to things? If you say that there's going to be a strike and all the petrol pumps are going on strike, what happens to everyone? They want to go and fill their tank up first. Then they want to take some jerry cans and fill those also up. Because tomorrow they might not get gas. So you want to hoard every damn thing, is it? Yeah, that's how we are. We are survivalistic creatures. We first want to protect ourselves. And I'm thinking, we are all in a nice place. You guys are program managers and planners and strategic thinkers. Why are we so worried about, some stupid thing that can go wrong? Why can't we say, boss, we got such a nice group here. We put collective intelligence into play. We are not scared of anything that happens tomorrow. And I'm so glad that you guys, like Rishi and all that, have started an organization like this to help other people to grow. I look at this as, the new India, where we are collaborating, where we are going to thrive. And India is boss. India is king. You please all mark that. I want to make sure that everyone in India thrives. And if you're collaborating with people other parts of the world, like, we have CHOGM or we have SAARC summits or we have UN, let's collaborate there also. What's the problem? But first, let's look after ourselves. Doesn't matter which part of the world we come from. First is I, me, myself, my family, all of that. So the priority I give things, first look after yourself. If you're going to be dead, there's no point in making big plans for the family. Take an insurance policy that will look after everything. But if you're saying, I'm responsible to my family and my family is responsible to me, then why don't we start to grow the family first? Please tell me. Why do we keep a spouse out of the growth plan? Why do we focus so much on children? Because we think that they will choose our retirement home, right? Mm-mm. Interesting. So how do we change that? How do we now start to say, let's look at this fabulous, forum that we have got, GAP, and let's do some gap shap, whatever you call it, gup shop. I want all of us to be a little bit aware of, if we can start to collaborate and pool ideas, already we are starting to work plans. I'm telling you seriously, I see the organizations which share information, which are not scared of, if I tell you something, you'll be smarter than me. Those are the organizations that keep on growing things and they keep on filing patents. And I want that to happen. I want India to be the center of the patent world. I want India to be thought leader. I want India to be product capital. Why do we not have a Facebook or a Google out of India? Why? Why are we only doing outsourced services? Because we don't think we're smart enough. The truth is, we are the smartest nation on the planet. I'm calling this out wherever I am in the world. Indians are the smartest people, but you know where we screw ourselves? Indian crab syndrome. We don't want anyone else to go up, so we pull them down. We pull them down. We pull them down. And I want that to change. And I'm saying, you got such a fabulous forum. Why don't we take one decision that we will not fight with each other? We will try to understand each other. We will start to share more information. In today's world, if we don't understand what's happening, what are we trying to do to prove that we are the best, we are the smartest, we know? Why? In today's world, with everything changing so much, governments don't know what the hell to do with corona. The scientists don't know what to do with corona. So they make one statement, 2 days later they counter it. Look what's happening with WHO. They make statements like they know every damn thing, and then 2 weeks later they say, no, we are now making a revised statement. And yeah, very interesting, man, guys. You're supposed to be the foremost authority on health, and you don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, you can't blame them. This is a new virus. Nobody knows what to do. I agree with that. We have Prime Minister also said, Talia Bajao boss, go and ganti karo. What are you talking about? So all of us going on the balcony and assuming that coronavirus will run away because they heard us banging plates. And some other people are saying, no, that is a smart move just to get us together. Okay, we can start to ascribe motive. Okay, fine. But why don't we do one thing? Why don't we read more about the coronavirus? Why aren't you checking what's happening in different parts of the globe? Why aren't you checking the countries which are really on top of this whole thing? But bottom line, why don't you become more fit and healthy? So you don't need to worry what the scientists are talking here. Let them figure it out when they figure it out. People are asking me, when are you going to take the corona vaccine? I said, why would I need it? I managed so far without it. Now it's only people immunized. Why should I bother? The virus is not going to come to me anyway. And if it comes to me, the virus should be scared, not me. Oh, that's my thinking. I might still be put down by the virus. Who cares? But ye mera aadat hai, bhai. This is my style. You like it, you keep it. You don't like it, throw it out. But this has served me very well. I don't get sick. I don't lose days of work. I don't take a holiday. For me, work is a holiday. I'm talking to such nice people. Why would I need a holiday? Tell me. People tell me, I'm going to go out for a holiday. And I say, no, I'm going to go out for work. And my work is a holiday. So I'm going for a holiday also. Quite a problem, okay? Okay, so I'm having so much of fun. So let's do one thing. I'm going to now give you some time for Q&A. But instead of waiting right till the end, and I have to explain some things right from the beginning, why don't we do a mid-session kind of Q&A? Why don't we now take a small break, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? You ask me 1 or 2 questions from whoever is asking. I'll give you some explanations. I'll know where your mind is at this point of time. I'll answer those questions, and then I can take it off from there. I'm saying if it's okay with Nisha, since you're the chair.
Sure, Ian. I would like to ask members that have joined this session, does anyone have anything to add to what Ian has enlightened us on so far. Or does anyone have a question?
Um, Hi, Ian. My name is Mithun.
Hey,
Um,
Mithun.
I would like to jump in here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mithun. I think we're having some connectivity issues.
Yeah, Mithun, I can't hear you well because there's a lot of breakup in the audio.
Mithun, you can type in your
Sorry.
question in case the audio is an issue.
Sure, I will.
Yeah, you put it on the chat. I can answer from there also.
Done.
But Mithun, if you find your audio is okay now, go shoot the question right now. No problem.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, very well.
Right.
Yes.
So, like I said, it's more of a thing that I have to add to this than a question, because this is something that I would like to share. I've been running a startup over the last decade or so, and we've been always been an inventory light model when it comes to our resources, for that matter.
Okay.
We have always worked with people remotely, and that's something that we have tried to inculcate within our culture, to have transferable abilities. In the sense, one major thing that I came across during the pandemic was a lot of people were put out of jobs. And what was appalling to me was they literally found themselves stuck saying that, I don't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm sure in a lot of cases, a lot of professions, that might be very true. But then one thing that we have always tried, be it a designer, a developer, a visualizer, or a coder, a developer, a sales guy. So we always ensure that each one of us are very well plugged into what the other person's doing, and not just uska kaam hai, usko karne do. As in, we've never had that kind of mentality here. So we've always tried to inculcate that culture of learn whatever you can. Always be open to learning something new. There's nothing you're going to lose, right?
Absolutely.
And that has greatly helped us, because there were a lot of people who actually left the organization over the last decade and went to join other firms, and unfortunately they lost their jobs and during the pandemic. And three of them actually, exactly three of them wrote to me, they called out to me, and they actually said now they're doing project management roles when they were pure salesmen before. Why? Because they were handling complete project management when they were working with us. And there's nothing more as a small business owner to actually hear something of that sort, right? So transferable abilities is something everyone should learn to cultivate within them. And like you said, reading is, the more input you have, the more processing and output happens, right? So the more you read, the more information you have to process and impart. So yeah, so that is something which I thought would help. So I thought.
Well called out, Mithun. You speak so beautifully, man. You should think of coaching and training people. You speak so well. I love your clarity. I love your
I'm just
articulation. Plus, you have this very
Thank
nice
you so much.
voice.
Really appreciate that, Ian.
Plus. You can be an actor. You can be an anchor. Good.
Thank you.
But more than everything else, I love your heart, because you're ready to listen to people who were with you earlier. They kicked you in the pants and walked out, but you didn't take that personal.
Sure.
I like that attitude. Seriously, we need more Indians like you. So, Mithun, my namaskaras.
Right. Thank you.
Awesome.
Much appreciated. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
No, seriously, it's really nice to see this.
Hi, Ian. Rishi here.
Hi, Rishi. Go ahead.
Thanks for those insights. I think I was listening very, very intensely. And thanks, Mithun, for sharing that experience as well. That's encouraging. I wanted to ask you, Ian, and you stressed a lot on the point of view and collaboration, right? And that's become extremely important in today's world because we are all remote mostly. But then these things were still being inculcated, and we were all still being taught and learning about the benefits of collaboration and the need for it until COVID hit us without notice,
Yes.
right? And I personally feel a lot of this also comes from spending time with each other, the camaraderie that we share, used to rather in offices, and that makes us open much more easily.
Yes.
right? And collaboration is such an important part of for most of us, especially the planning fraternity. But there's a lot of cultural element to it, and there's a lot of personal, the interpersonal relationship element to it. And by the way, talking about culture, I must tell you that we have a couple of people today from South Africa and Indonesia as well on the
like it.
call, right?
I
So
like it. Fabulous.
so what I wanted to ask was, how do we manage that today when we have people joining in the organizations remotely, having never met their team members or even their manager, right? So they are joining in completely remote. In these circumstances, how do we get started with this collaboration and the camaraderie sharing with the team members so that we understand each other's viewpoints? So to me, while it has become more important, it has also become more difficult to achieve that.
You're
So
right.
wanted to know your views.
I'll give you some tips. So I'll tell you one of the times when I really felt my ability to read people. Oh, by the way, I do that. So some of you might be a little bit, skeptical about it, but I can prove it. Many of you come online. Even I can read Mithun or Rishi now without even seeing them. So the reason why I got into Cisco was because I read the HR head. That time is a guy called.
You're scaring us now.
No, it's
Just kidding.
it's an ability all of us have. I've developed it. That's it. All of us have this innate ability to read people. And all of us think we are excellent at reading others, but we don't share our opinion. And therefore, we don't get fine-tuned and we don't get polished up. I've been doing this for 36, 37 years as a counselor. So for me, I have tons of experience in reading people. So I'm really good at it. I'm excellent at it. So now I got into Cisco because I read Vipin Thomas on the phone. I was actually catching a flight to Delhi, and in a 2-minute call, his first question to me was, "So, Mr. Faria, you've been proposed for training some of our top leaders. So we want a coaching session from you for our top leaders. So what's your certification as a coach, Mr. Faria?" I said, "Nothing." And he said, "Sorry?" I said, "Nothing, NOTHING, nothing." So silence on the other line. I said, "What happened, boss? Lost your tongue?" He said, "No, Mr. Faria, how do we take you on board as a trainer, as a coach without your certification?" I said, "Listen, I've been coaching way before certification came into play. Number one. Number two, I coach some of the top coaches in the country. So, and I know how little they know after their coaching certification. So why would I go for stupid coaching, please?" I said, "But let me tell you how I can be good for the organization. I'm really good with people. I can read people. I can tell them what the missing pieces are. I can tell them how to plug those gaps in no time, and I can show them how to be a lot more effective. So if you want some good coaching for your people, I'll show you how I read people." He says, "What do you mean read people?" I said, "I've been talking to you for what, 1.5 minutes? Can I read you on the phone?" And he said, "Yeah, you can read me on the phone." I said, "Yeah, try me." He said, "Okay, go ahead." So I read him on the phone. After about 3-4 minutes, he said, "Mr. Faria, when can we meet you, sir?" I said, "What happened to the certification? All the time, all out of the window, huh?" He said, "How do you do this? I mean, did you check my LinkedIn profile?" I said, "Is your wife's view of you on your LinkedIn profile? Please tell me." First of all, I'm with a trolley bag trying to walk into the airport and you called me. And you think I'm going to search who is Vipin Thomas? Seriously? So he's saying, no, actually, you're right. Oh, some of the things you said, even my wife doesn't know. I said, "Wow, good for you. When can we meet you?" I said, 2 days, I'm back from Delhi, then we'll talk. There at the interview, nobody wanted to talk to me because they're all like, you go away. So my colleague was there. She said, "I think they want you to read them." I said, "Yeah, I know. You okay with me reading you guys?" They said, "Yeah, yeah." So the first lady I read. And she said, "Okay, stop. That's it. Time out. Please, we'll talk personally." I said, "Okay." "You're impressed?" He said, "Yeah." Second guy, Pujan. I look at him and I said, "Pujan, you shouldn't have been on this panel, right?" "What do you mean?" I said, "You're leaving the company, right?" "Mr. Faria, can we change the topic?" She said, "Hey, Pujan, you're leaving, huh? You think I was going to tell you this Friday, man? I'm so sorry. Too many things are happening, But yeah, within a month he was out of Cisco. Why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you, each of us have an innate ability to read each other. You believe it or you don't believe it. Where is your sixth sense come from? Tell me. Where is your gut feel coming from? It's all because your brain has been curated to choose the best information for you at any point of time. The trouble is, we don't have stats and information to back it up, and then we say, no, I don't have enough information. Then why don't you read Blink by Malcolm Gladwell? He talks about how thin slicing or just getting a whiff of someone, I can tell you the rest of the details. There's enough scientific evidence to prove that we can read people without knowing the full facts. But we don't rely on our gut feel because it doesn't have evidence, right? We are evidence-based society. We want stats. We want analysis. We want spreadsheets. Why? Not required, actually. Actually, this COVID, people who are fighting it well are the ones who go by gut feel. Somehow they protect themselves. They are already, inherently looked after by the universe. This is not some hocus pocus stuff. I used to think it was hocus pocus a long time back. But the more you get into spirituality and you start to understand how the universe works, the more you start to understand that, boss, we are meant to read each other. We are meant to understand each other. We are meant to collaborate. We are meant to do more than we are doing on our own. And collaboration gives us that X factor. 1 + 1 should not be equal to 2. Or like somebody said, 1 + 1 is equal to 11. But then I met somebody recently in a training program and said, 1 + 1 with nothing between us becomes 101. I'm thinking like, oh my goodness. 1 + 1 with nothing between us becomes 101. What's your problem with taking 101 just by collaborating with nothing between us? I thought, wow, man, some guys are really smart. So that's how I look at life. How do we move this forward? Rishi, we all have the ability. I'm saying one thing. You have already done a super job by collaborating with such a nice group of people. And you're saying you got people from South Africa, from Malaysia. I'm thinking like, man, this is an international forum already. What's the problem? You exchange the best practices in Indonesia or South Africa with us, and we'll exchange best India practices with you. And we got 3 nations here who are collaborating. What's the problem? I like it. I love it. So yeah, more power to you guys. I really feel this is a super forum. I really wish more people were on this session today. But once they see this, the outcome of this session, I'm pretty sure some will say, I should have attended. But maybe we can have something else later. Who knows? Okay, I'm taking more questions, or you can even challenge my thoughts. And please feel free to do that, because through collaborative challenges like this, we learn more.
Yeah, thank you, Ian, for those kind words. I actually had a question. I just wanted to understand, what, in your opinion, do you think is the right mindset of the next generation leaders?
I think, see, every generation, and I've studied from Gen X to before that, baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z now, and each of the generations are working differently. And now scientists will tell you a generation is approximately 6 years apart. At my time, it was 25 years apart. So father-son was 1 generation gap. Today, it's 6 years. Today, between siblings, there's a generation gap. One child is older by 5, 6, 7 years. They can't think the same way. It's just the way technology has improved. It's the way that, we have started to use, the electronic systems and everything. Today's kids are so comfortable. A 2-year-old, can be flipping screens on an iPad or something, or your phone. And they're already addicted to computer games, which is another bad thing. That's worse than drugs, by the way. So the new generation, let me tell you, we have to start to evolve new systems. But the nicest thing that we have, Nisha, and I'm so glad you asked this question, is we have the ability to talk and ask questions, right? So I don't need a formula to handle people. Once I ask them, what do you want? What do you look for? What pisses you off? What really lifts your spirit? What gives you air under your wings? I know what they're looking for. I know what motivates them. I know what demotivates them. When I see them responding to somebody and, doing a face, I know they don't like that. I map it mentally. So all the time I'm mapping this. Plus I get people come and pour out all their problems to me. You think I'm not going to get deep into their mind or their soul? So I learn from that. I learn from that. I learn from that. All of us should learn from everything. When you got such a nice collaborative group like this on Gap, why are we not learning from each other? Why aren't we sharing best practices? If each of you, and you have 100 people on the group or 200 people on the group, each share one idea a month, you got 100 new ideas in a month with 100 people. Multiply that by 12, you got 1,200 ideas by the end of the year. What's the problem? You take the top 10 of that, work on it. Okay. What is your problem? So we don't need a formula. I think the best advice is be fair to people, start to ask questions. Ask a question and listen to understand. Don't listen to counter. Don't listen to challenge. Don't listen to put them down. Don't listen to tell them they're wrong. Listen to understand where they're coming from. If you didn't understand, ask a deeper question. Ask a better question. So if we just ask questions rather than make judgment calls, we are always on a good wicket because people feel we trust them. We don't judge them. They'll work with us. So Nisha, good question. I hope you got a reasonably good answer.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ian.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to add or share their views, questions? Ian, I actually was thinking about what you said earlier. You mentioned VUCA, right? Right in the beginning of this session. So do you think empathy could be added to one of the leadership traits that the new normal leaders should have something going forward? Is empathy a big...
Empathy, very, very, very important factor. And I think, empathy is going to come into play a lot more now because everything has gone to the digital world so far. Even we got storage on cloud now. We don't have to even have servers in the office. Earlier, we had to have a bank of servers because we had to keep all our information with us. Now, I think it's a lot safer when it's in the cloud, So even if somebody hacks into one system, someone else will back it up. So, people in the US, I'm talking 15 years ago, started looking at alternate sites, safe sites, they call them. So if a US information is hacked, they have this information in 3-4 different places. So even a terrorist attack will not get all the servers. So these kind of things are already happening. I'm saying, yes, empathy is going to be a very important factor for all of us going forward because all of us are going to get challenged by so many different things. Loss of job, demonetization, one world kind of currencies. I mean, travel bans, you name it, everything is going to be in somebody else's control. The only thing that we have is how to tackle the issue. And the more connected we are, the more ideas we get. So my colleague lost their very important bag with all their passports in Italy. Now their major money was in that bag. And they left it at the hotel and they said there's CCTV cameras and all that there. And they told the bellboy, that this is all our bags. And they said, okay. So they just went out to pick up an ice cream from a store just outside the hotel. They took all of 10 minutes and they came back one major bag with their things, their passports, their money, their traveler's checks, everything. One, the big boss's bag was missing. So you're stranded now. You don't even have travel documents. What are you going to do? So they called people, they had their phones with them. So they made some calls back to India. And somebody said, my friend is an exporter from Italy. You don't worry, he knows some of the ministers. They did all their stuff. The only thing they got within 2 days, they got their travel documents and they got some money to spend because, I think the Indian embassy there looked after them. But they lost everything. Now you can come back and crib and you can say this happens in Italy and, we brand a country for that. There's one guy who took you for a ride, man. Deal with it. But should we have been smarter? Of course we should have. But through collaboration, see, they managed to come back without really taking too much of a hit, except for some of the money that went. In today's world, if we have empathy, then only we'll do something for others. But if we have sympathy and we say, you got screwed in Italy, okay, very sorry for you. So sad, so sad. But when you come back, we'll party and we'll discuss, okay? What is that? That's sympathy. That's, your problem, boss. Don't give it to me. But if I say, if I was stuck in Italy now and I didn't have money and my family was with me, what would we do? I work from that point of view. I would have want somebody to help me. So I help you now. So I pay it in advance in a lot of ways. The universe works like that. So nothing that you do good for others is ever lost. It only comes back to you with interest. The trouble we have is expecting it from the person we gave it to. No, you do your joy, take your joy out of giving, boss. Give to them properly. When they accept it, your karma is over. From where you get it coming back, boss, you'll be shocked. Sometimes I get, some of these new training programs, and I get coaching, calls from people I don't even know. But somebody somewhere has given that reference, maybe 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It comes back to me maybe 10 years later. How does it make a difference? So build your credit balance in the universe by being empathetic, by being nice, by being kind, by being caring. Yeah, we've seen people go and give meals to people who are, these migrant workers and all that. I think it's superb here. And the people who had less, actually give more. So I think this is a good country, and I think all over the world, we have empathy as a bottom line. So whether you're listening in from South Africa or anywhere in the world, I'm sure you have, your members from everywhere. All of us are still human beings with a good heart. And if an asteroid hits planet Earth, all of us are going to go. So let's not worry about national boundaries and where we come from, what language we speak, what caste we are, what religion we follow. Who cares? Just empathize because we are humans. That's it.
Great. Thanks for that, Ian. Yeah, sorry, Mithun, you had something to add?
Yeah, I just had a question for you, Ian. Now, it's a thought or a belief you could say that's been around the most, that the world's biggest business leaders are sociopaths, right? As in, all they think about is their vision and not how or with whose help it manifests. So my question is kind of a two-parter. Number one, do you agree with this thought that they are sociopaths? And if so, what defines a sociopath? And number two, do you think a pandemic like this, of this magnitude, would have affected them or changed them intrinsically in some way? Excuse me.
Yeah, so a sociopath is actually, the whole of psychology is based on finding flaws. So if you say somebody's ADD, means attention deficit disorder, that means he has a problem keeping attention. So, unfortunately, that's the old brand of psychology. It's what the Adlers and the Freuds and all that propagated. But the new brand of psychology with guys like Seligman and all that, or let's say, even some of the good guys like Viktor Frankl, one of the most positive guys, got tortured in Nazi concentration camps, had to actually turn the gas on when his family members were inside, and then take out their bodies and cut off parts and make soup and drink it. I mean, he went through horrific. Read his book called Man's Search for Meaning. You'll puke half the time reading that book. It's so sad. But he comes out and his whole philosophy is, well, that suffering was required for me to become a better person. So now that I'm better, I'm going to give the world positive psychology. And this is where I want all of you to understand. Through our biggest suffering comes our biggest learning, and pain is our best teacher. So these guys are sociopaths, psychopaths, whatever they are, let them be. Why do we give them a tag, first of all? Maybe because they have more than us, maybe we think that they are not entitled or something like that. But I'm saying let's not go there. Let's try to learn one or two things from them. They know how to make money. That's how they become rich and famous. So let's see how we can do that. Mm-hmm. Number two, whether they got impacted, didn't get impacted, really is only just a theoretical issue. I am pretty sure you can't go through a pandemic like this without changing from the inside. But still, there are some sociopaths, psychopaths who are not going to change. That's fine. Let the law deal with those guys in their own time. What I'm saying we have control of is the people closest to us, our family, our team, maybe our locality. But what happens in the whole of India, which part of India is in uncouth and which part of the other part of the world is not doing well? How does it bother us? If you can go and help them, then you go and help them. Otherwise, it's really just a theoretical issue. This is how I like to look at life. So, Mithun, I feel you're a tremendously smart guy. But my suggestion seriously is focus on the good around us. Learn good things from everyone. The bad things, we can afford to not look at it too closely. Because what we focus on becomes a part of us.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you.
Small example, my mother, when we take her to the dentist, she's talking about, Oh, there's garbage here. Oh, those fellows didn't paint their wall. Look at this, fully black. They should have just sprayed some water and rubbed it with a brush. All the black stuff would have gone. I said, Mom, you know what? I come on this road every day. I don't see this. So what do you look at then? I look at the new buildings coming up. I look at the pretty girls walking on the road. I look at the nice cars that are being driven. Oh, you don't see the potholes. You don't see. No, I don't see, Mom. I choose what I want to look at. No, you choose what you want to look at. Mom, if you want to look at all the rubbish on the road, please go ahead. But you make a copy of that in your head because you have to understand it here. So I don't see sociopaths. I don't see psychopaths. I don't see murderers. I don't see terrorists. I don't see corona. I see what I want to see. Some people might say it's foolhardy, but it's okay. It's worked for me very well so far. Mithun, you're a smart guy. Focus on the plus, and give us more to think about here. Smart guys like you coaching us.
Sure. I was coming from more of a point of view that when you start looking at what you could probably start finding ways to fix it, it was more from that perspective than focusing on what's. But I completely get your point. You're right.
I like what you're saying, but if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Sure.
Some people want to break it to see if they can repair it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not of that school of thought. I'm saying whatever is happening, boss, we do namaste and we appreciate it and we see how we can make it better. That's it.
Thanks, Ian, so much for your insights. Rishi, do you have anything else to add to the discussion?
No, Ian, I think we can continue with some more insights.
Okay, sure. Okay, one of the things that I learned recently, and I want to call this out. You know, I'm coaching one of the top families in the country. I don't want to mention any names or anything, but 4 siblings in the family. Father and brother started the company. Below that, 4 siblings. They've got 4 spouses in now. Totally 8 children among the 4 couples. And they want me to coach their children ranging from 7 years to 15 years. So I said 7 to 15 is too wide a gap. We'll make them into 2 groups. So they're okay with that. But I also said one thing. I said, you know what? I might do the best coaching for your kids and they might be super smart kids. No question about it. They will be. But after I have lit this fire in them and they're, passionate and saying, boss, we take on the world, you're going to put cold water on my fire when I leave. So why would I spend so much of time coaching your kids when you guys are not aligned with what I'm doing in the coaching? So they thought about it and they said, actually, acha idea was. I think we also need coaching. So now I'm coaching this next generation and their kids. Let me tell you, in a short span of time, we found that one couple was leaving the family saying, we already got our own company and it's this small, and I'm going to leave this much of inheritance and go away. And that inheritance is 1,000+ crores. But because of irritation, because I can't stand some people, no, they want to leave and they want to go. They said, screw the money. It's only money, right? So leave it. How much we can eat, how much money we can use. So forget it. We want peace of mind. Why do we need peace of mind when in this family setting, our problem is we are focusing on the wrong things that cause us pain. And then we say that the world is a painful place. I'm sorry. That's not the way it is. I believe the world is a painful place when we don't know how to manage pain. So I believe in 2 things. Number 1, either we win or we get a lesson. Now you notice I didn't say we win or we lose. Either we win or we lose, we gain a lesson. So today's world says, fail fast. If you fail, no problem. Jump up and start again. Before anybody else has started, you're already making your second attempt. You're ahead of the pack. In today's world, one of the things that we require is to learn how to fail. Take that risk, know that you could fail. Nothing wrong with failing, but fail and try again. Fail and try again. Fail and try again until you crack the code. So my big lesson for all of you is I don't spend more than 3 times cracking the code because I believe the universe looks after me. So if the 3 things that go wrong in a row, it's the universe way of saying, Ian, get the hell out of there. So I leave. Whatever the cost is, boss, I'm out of that issue. I call that divine intervention. I'm not really a religious guy, but I'm very spiritual. I believe the universe gives us enough hints and warnings. And one of the ways it teaches us is through pain. And if the pain is escalating, every time you get more and more pain, it means the universe is saying, if you don't back off now, I'll kill you. Yeah. And a lot of us die because of trying hard enough. Don't do that. If you're trying and it's better than last time, then okay, then fine. Then you're on the right path. You're actually correcting something. So I believe divine intervention is there for a reason. Pain is our best teacher, and we never lose anything. We only gain lessons. So the more we fail, the more we are smart. So I made enough mistakes, so that's why I'm a good coach. Now I can help others not make the same mistakes. So other thing that you all should also consider is sometimes there are people smarter than us. So instead of spending all your time doing trial and error, if you can get somebody who can help you crack the code within a shorter time, say 1/3 of the time or 1/4 of the time, you got so much more time to become a master in that area. Today's world, we don't want masters so much as we want generalists, somebody who can do this and that and that and that and that. But you then start to build your mastery in one or two areas of those. And if those two areas crash, you got so many other areas, slowly build mastery in that. And that's what the VUCA world requires. It requires us to be very agile, very nimble on your feet. Learn something new, master it as quick as you can. You don't have to go to 100% mastery, 80% is enough. By that time, that will fail. Jump to something else. Be nimble, be quick-footed. Yeah, so I can't give you a foolhardy formula for success, but I want to say one thing. You can't get all the codes for cracking success, but you can, through collaborative experience or what we call collective intelligence, you can make less mistakes. So like I said, if I made a mistake, I shouldn't allow you to make the same mistake. But for that, you should trust me. Do you have that trust in me? Then you follow what I'm saying. So you can have a buddy system, you can have a group, dynamic, a success team, and you already have an organization in place. Why don't you consider some of these things? And get some coaches, mentors. Some of you can be mentors, like people like Mithun or Rishi. You're already done enough stuff. Why not start to curate that and share it with others? And Nisha, she's come from a totally different background. She's a very creative person, design and capability on that. Why not use that intelligence in strategic thinking also? So we can use design and creativity in strategic thinking. It's even more powerful because you bring right brain and left brain into play. So we can do a session sometime if you want on just how the brain works. Maybe I'll share some of my information on the programs that we do. We have some very empowering programs. So I'll share it with Nisha or with Rishi, and you can then share it forward. But we can learn something faster. Why not? The VUCA world has to make us learn. There's no time, because by the time you figure out the code, that thing that you're working on is no longer relevant. Then what? So now we have to learn how to hit the ground running every time. Health is going to be very important in this new world. Health. Because you can't rely on scientists and doctors to save your life, please. You save yourself first. If you look at it, maximum number of people dying are doctors. And I'm wondering, why is that? Because they think they're invincible, I think. Maybe. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ian, for those kind words and on the great insights. And I'll make sure that your information is shared with all our members. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. And we look forward to having you on more talks going forward.
Love to collaborate with you guys sometime in the future. But Nisha, thank you for having me over. Rishi, thank you for okaying that. And
it was a pleasure. I'm glad we got you and got this opportunity to listen to your views. Would you have time if in case somebody has any more questions?
Yeah, sure.
Anybody?
We didn't hear Indonesia, South Africa.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Rahul, and I'd like to really thank Nisha for inviting me over to this gathering and listening to you, Mr. Ian, first of all. Quite honestly, I was a bit apprehensive to even begin asking something And by the time I made up my mind to ask something, your answer was already out for that particular question, you know. So I didn't know what exactly to ask, but I just really want to say thank you for sharing all your insights and thoughts. It's really been helpful because I have a particular issue that I have restarted my life 4 times in the last 15 years. In fact, lived in 4 different cities and countries in the last 15 years and still haven't figured it out.
Wow.
So I've always been a one-man army kind of a show, and just been post the pandemic that I've decided to start collaborating with people, making a team out of where I'm existing and how I'm doing. And this has been a really revelation of thoughts of what you're saying and how you follow your life. That's the main key. That's the main key.
Hey,
Just
awesome.
want to
You
say
speak
thank you
so
so much again.
nicely. Rahul, I'm shocked that you said you had to have 4 different resets. But all is required. All is required. So you're much more powerful now because of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the grace
So I
of
wish
God.
you all the best. If you need, I'm okay with sharing my number if it's okay with you all. Nisha and Rishi, please let me.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead, please.
My number is easy to remember: 96 200 20,000.
That's quite easy.
200 20,000. A lot of zeros, so people don't pick up my number. They think income tax department is calling.
No income tax department will have a problem with me, so that's okay. They're not coming here.
Hey Rahul, you got a very rare surname, Chainani. Do you have any relatives in Bombay?
In fact, obviously, because I'm a Sindhi by culture, so there are many Sindhis all over the world. And Chainani, there are not many Chainanis in Bombay. Although I don't have any cousins. They must be like family tree cousins. You know, my
Mhm.
grandfather cousins and everything. So yeah, must be here and there around. But I'm not sure of Chainani in Bombay. Not
My
directly.
sister-in-law's first husband, his name is Prem Chainani. He was in watches and all that. So, okay, this is very rare I come across a Chainani. So I said I must ask.
It is very simple. You just have chai and then you have nani. So nani ki chai, no? Chai plus nani. It's very simple.
Oh God, Chai and Nani. Okay, got it.
Rahul, thank you so
Lovely.
much for sharing your interesting journey with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you so
Great
much.
to have your thoughts.
Good, yeah. I'm so happy to be part of this session, seriously. And I hope
Thank
the
you.
recorded version reaches more people. Because,
Sure.
we should, when we curate something or we give some information, more people should benefit from it.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, Ian. Do we have any more questions? Anyone want to share something?
If we want to make this international, we have to get somebody from Indonesia and South Africa to join in.
Tenaka from Indonesia is driving, he told me.
Oh, he's driving. Okay.
So he's listening to you in the traffic, I guess. That makes his.
I hope I didn't say anything too rough, then he might go and bang into a tree or something.
No, or you might have just reduced his pain.
Okay. I like that. Thanks so much. Yeah, I really like that.
Pretty, bad traffic, I know. So.
Nice. He's so happy to be with you guys here.
Yeah. And I had a lot of takeaways today from you, Ian. So thanks a lot for sharing, especially on your analogy of pain and that universe way of communicating with us, giving some signals. That's interesting takeaway. And also the fact that being agile and nimble is the way to survive and grow in the new normal. I think this is true for the corporations as well as the individuals, right? Both ways. So that definitely resonates as well. So I think everybody is just trying to digest what you said, is still absorbing, and it's they're in the thinking mode, and a lot would be listening to you in the recorded session. Because this is an office hour, so a lot of them would be listening either during the weekend or in the night. But now they know your easy number, and they also know that this is not from the tax department, so you can expect some connects. Right.
Yes,
Thanks so much, Ian, and thanks, Nisha, for getting him to us.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ian, again for sharing your thoughts and insights. And we look forward to having you on more of our sessions.
Beautiful. I love to be there, and whenever good people are together, I'd love to be a part of it.
Sure. Thank you everybody for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. We would be covering personal financial planning by Miss Neeti Sethi. So do join us for this coming up session.
Okay, have fun, guys. All the best. I'm leaving.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Vicky. Thanks, Nisha,
Thank you, Ian.
Rahul, Mithun. Thank you.